Is this Daniel Norris?
Hey, how's it going?
This is good. How do you do here? This is Marky Billson on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities.
Yeah, right on.
I am pleased to make your acquaintance here, and very much so, and look forward to talking to you here in just about a minute is when we'll go on. And let's see here. So now, are you in Lakeland right now?
Yes, I am.
All right. I don't think they keep you in the old barracks. Are you familiar with that? You're not familiar with that? They used to be, the minor league team there is the Flying Tigers, and they used to actually keep players in, there's an old air barracks. I don't even know if it's still there anymore. But, that's where that all came from. I mean, the complex and everything, I think, was just sort of a old airline hangar, and that's where, when they decided to move there way back. I mean, Hank Greenberg days, that they...
They definitely still have the hangars here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there. I've been to Chano Lakes and all that. Lots of room, 420 in the outfield to run in, right? I got that. I've been there. I know what it's about. Anyway, I actually saw a fan there once, and he had a T-shirt that said "Detroit against the world." And I hate to tell you this, but I bet on the world.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyway, just too long of odds, No, that's okay. All right, you ready to answer some tough questions?
Yeah, I am.
All right, here we go. Well, it wasn't that long ago that Daniel Norris made baseball history and supported my hatred of the designated hitter by becoming the first American League pitcher to hit a home run at Wrigley Field, which is quite the historical note. However, last year, his stats in a year in which he actually started the most games of his major league career, despite some injury problems, he posted also the highest ERA of his career, save for, I guess, when you were just a rookie and appeared in 5 games in 2014. But anyway, Daniel Norris has been the pride and joy of Johnson City, Tennessee, pitching in the major leagues since he was 21 for the Blue Jays in 2014. It's a pleasure now to make your acquaintance and talk to you now. Welcome to Tri-City Sports Now. But something, Daniel Norris, I want to start you off here. I know the managerial change with the Tigers and all this. The other thing you were noted for, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but I've seen the stats that say you're the slowest worker taking 27 pitches or 27 seconds between pitches. And I just want to ask, have the Tigers actually talked to you about this? Are you going to try, or have they asked you to be more of a fast worker in 2018?
That's news to me. I always thought I worked kind of quick, but...
I'm telling you the truth. The average, they said, for Daniel Norris, 27 seconds between pitches, and that was the slowest in the major leagues. I'm dead serious about this. So they haven't come to you, obviously.
No, I haven't, but I guess I'll get on that for sure.
Well, I don't know, some sports talk show host getting on and all that. I did want to ask, you had to have heard of Rob Manfred proposing the pitch clock, 20 seconds or so. What were your thoughts on that? Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but do you think that Major League Baseball needs a pitch clock, much like basketball has a shot clock?
I don't think we need it, no. I mean, I like the game the way it is, to be honest with you. I just, they come with all these changes and everything, and I just wish we could leave it how it is. But, at the end of the day, whatever rules they bring in, we got to abide by them. So.
Well, I am talking to Daniel Norris live from Lakeland, Florida, which, by the way, is the longest continuous affiliation team and spring training complex in baseball, and it's going to go 100 years because they've signed into 2034, as a matter of fact. But I know last year you were struggling with injuries, Daniel. You missed, I know, a lot of August and such. Where are you now? Are you 100%?
Yeah, I spent the off-season trying to get healthy and trying to be preventative of, injuries in the future. And so, I've been working really hard, and just the main thing for me is staying healthy.
What about the Tigers this year? I know that I just read a story on Yahoo, and they had the 30 burning questions of every team, and the most telling question for the Detroit Tigers was, is Daniel Norris a mainstay? And where do you foresee yourself in the rotation this year for Detroit?
Well, like you said, I mean, I believe, and I think they believe, if I can stay healthy and go out there, I've shown it at times my ability, and if I can just be consistent and be on the field health-wise, and I absolutely think I'm a mainstay. It's just a matter of doing that and being out there to be able to do it. So that's been my focus.
Would you see yourself as like a 2 guy behind Fulmer, or I mean, have they told you where they expect you to fit into in the rotation?
No, they haven't said anything yet, and I don't imagine they will until towards the end of camp. So, the thing is, just go out there and pitch and pitch when they tell you to.
I know the Tigers have a managerial change this year. No more Brad Ausmus. Ron Gardenhire is in. Have you had a chance? What are your first impressions of your new manager?
Well, I really like him, and I think that he brings the old school baseball approach, which I really like, and I'm a big advocate of that. And so I think that he's going to take us as a young team and kind of teach us how to play the game the right way, which I'm excited for.
Well, let me ask you, what is the old school approach? Because Daniel Norris, I come from where I remember Gardenhire playing for the Mets, which tells you about how long I go back to. And his manager at the time was Davey Johnson, who was getting all sorts of praise as being a new wave manager. And he was actually using computers, and that's what they called analytics back then. He was one of the first guys to do that and such. And so for me, Gardenhire was playing for what was then considered to be a cutting-edge manager and someone cut from a new cloth, maybe not the old school. What to you is an old school approach?
Well, just from conversations with him and what we've heard him say is he just likes the gritty side of the game. Play hard, get dirty. Not that the new school game isn't like that, but it is based more on numbers and just being very methodical. I think the old school approach to the game is just going out there and playing to your strengths instead of playing to their weaknesses. I think a combination of both is definitely needed, but for the most part, if you just go out there and play hard, then I think that's the old school style of baseball.
So traditional, but everybody pretty much plays hard and all this. I was curious. I know you've never pitched a complete game, and those are going by the wayside, let's face it, in Major League Baseball, much to my chagrin, and maybe yours, I don't know. But would you say that complete games, or at least trying to get the maximum innings in, is an old school approach that Gardenhire is going to take for the Tigers this year?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I mean, the bottom line is this: if you're going out there, and you're in the 6th, 7th inning, and you're throwing a shutout, and your pitch count has been economical, they're not going to pull you out of the game just to get to the bullpen. If you're throwing well that game, you're going to get the opportunity. So I think that's the main thing, is just doing your job, and you'll get the opportunity to throw a complete game. Yeah.
So the Rich Hill, Dave Roberts, and Norris has to go through the lineup a third time. You're basically saying, I want to go through the lineup that third time and all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
As
much as the hitters are figuring you out, you're figuring them out too. So.
What is the Daniel Norris pitch count, right? I mean, I know in spring training it's got to be a lot lower than what it'll be in the regular season, but what do you think once the season goes into full swing that you're comfortable with throwing in a game?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little over 100 every time out there, if all goes well. That's the main thing, is being able to, throw over 100 pitches and get deep into the game with that.
Last year, I noticed the Tigers, really at the end of the year gutted the team. And in fact, I thought that was one of the reasons why the Indians were able to win 22 in a row, because a lot of times when your team was taking on the Indians, they were doing so with players that, started the year in Toledo, that sort of thing. A lot of times it felt like almost a AAA team taking on a major league team, in my opinion. I want to ask you, Daniel Norris, What is your opinion about the Tigers coming in 2018? Do you think there's enough talent there to be able to contend against the Indians despite the poor season that the Tigers had last year?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we're young and we traded away a lot of, big name guys, but, truth is we lace our spikes up the same way and we can go out there, just get after it. And I think that's something that we're going to take pride on is we're young, we're athletic, we're going to go out there and play hard. Just try and win more than we lose.
What is right now what are your goals here for the 2018 season?
I have one goal, and that's to stay healthy. That's the only thing that I feel like I need as a baseball player to stay healthy, because if I'm healthy, I'm going out there every fifth day and I can make adjustments along the fly. I'm not saying I'm going to pitch a perfect game every time, but just go out there and be able to work through ruts and everything. But when you're hurt, that puts puts brakes on everything, and it's really hard to get better when you're hurt.
Now, everybody knows Daniel Norris. You're a Johnson Cityan, or at least everybody in Johnson City knows that. So I got to ask you, what are your big memories of pitching at Science Hill?
Oh man, we had a lot of fun. It was a really good group of guys. We all just loved each other. We wanted to win. We had a great coaching staff there with Coach Edwards, Coach Wall, and Coach Carter, Coach Reed for a couple of years. It was just really, really solid. And we worked hard. We played hard. I think we definitely had an old school approach to the game. And yeah, it was just the teammates were amazing.
I have to ask you this because the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue came out this year. When Verlander was still on the Tigers, was there a presence more than just sitting in the box seats of Kate Upton on the team? Do you understand what I'm saying? Were you guys kind of aware, or was that just not even discussed with the ace pitcher at the time?
Well, she was around some, and we were friends with her. She's really nice. She's my age, so everybody had a lot in common with her, and she's a really, really nice person. And yeah, I'm really happy for them getting married and everything. People think of them as superstars, which they are, but they're normal people and very, very nice, genuine people at that.
Yeah, they're baseball's version, I think, of Brady and Giselle. I would easily say that and such. I will say this, though. I did like the tweets after Verlander finished second in the Cy Young voting. I really did like the tweet, and all that, because there's a little bit of that snarky side of competition that I liked as well. It's Daniel Norris here, Detroit Tigers pitcher, as well as former Science Hill pitcher, and telling us that his one goal right now is to stay healthy, so not an amount of trying to win double digits or become the number 2 starter or anything like that. I did want to ask you, James McCann, what kind of a catcher do you think he's going to be?
He's really good, and I think he's going to be really good because he's passionate about it. He cares. He works hard. He's smart. He's athletic. He's one of my best friends, so we work hard together, and he pushes me and wants the best out of me for sure.
Have you made any changes or anything? I know you want to stay healthy, but are you just trying to add a new pitch or trying to take a different approach to the 2018 season than what you may have done in the past?
No new pitches. I've made some mechanical adjustments with our pitching coach, and those have been really great. So my main focus is just continuing on that path and staying healthy, as I said.
What are the mechanics that you've improved upon?
Staying over the rubber longer, staying balanced, being able to finish over my front side, not recoiling as much. Basically just finishing pitches more consistently. And so far my bullpens, it's the best I've really ever thrown in baseball, so I'm excited about that.
Sure, I understand that. Now, I do have to ask you, the home run that you hit in Wrigley Field, I know a lot of times some pitchers have the attitude of, I could care less about what I do with the bat, but you're a starter, and I know that a lot of time when you have that, you go up to even a Victor Martinez and say, do we really need you around? That sort of thing after that happens. Where do you stand? What was it like, though, to be the first American League pitcher to hit a home run in Wrigley Field?
Oh, it was fun. I love hitting, and I miss it. I miss playing every day, so anytime I get the chance to have a bat in my hands and take BP and stuff, I'm super excited.
Well, I do have to ask you, I know that in the minor leagues, certainly in the low minors, I mean, it's not even encouraged for pitchers to take batting practice and all this. What's it like, especially in the American League, when you're not doing it every day, only in interleague play, to get back into the fold? What are some of the things that you did to say, look, I can help my game out here? I remember Tommy Lasorda saying that, you know, if you can hit, you'll win a few more games every year for yourself. You're helping yourself. What did you do to get back into the swing of things and learn how to swing the bat again?
I think I had 2 or 3 days of BP, and that was it.
Well, that's a natural athlete then, don't you say? Or are they just hanging curveballs to you?
No. It was a heater.
Okay, here we go. Well, it's Daniel Norris. I want to wish you a lot of luck here for the 2018 season. I mean, certainly, you know, in the Tri-Cities, what municipality doesn't take pride in the athletes that come from here? But lately there has been something of a baseball feel, and really something I think more of a Tennessee baseball feel than there has been ever before, with more players from the area, East Tennessee. I mean, I think of Todd Helton, for instance, and I know that they came up in the 90s or so, but you know, he may become the first major leaguer out of Tennessee to actually make the Hall of Fame. So think of that. And Daniel Norris is now, you know, taking up that mantle that guys locally, perhaps in past generations, like Ed Whitson, or dare I even say Clyde Hard Rock Schoen, had coming from the area and pitching in the majors. So it's nice to make your acquaintance. We hope this isn't the only time. And, well, when I come back, I'm going to talk a little of the Olympics. And is Steve Forbes going to go to the SEC? I'll talk to you about that when we come back. Tri-City Sports Now. Well, thank you very much